What is going on? I'm Zmot, and we are walking a tightrope. Picking up those free diamonds every day, 11 every day, I assume, for marks. There's probably details on that somewhere on Boom Beach's socials, but I just don't got the times. Speaking of not got the times, code Zmot in that shop and all Supercell sources. Boom Beach is not in the Supercell store yet. Hoping that happens at some point. I have been free falling almost out of the global top 100. And my win rate has gone down below 70%. So not great, but you'll notice that we've got the keys now to go to that next engine room. And that is my plan. We have already used the best layout, or at least the second best layout. People are probably going to save this one for last, maybe, but you know what? There's a lot of goodies in behind, and I have enough keys to get to Heavy Choppas, so that is what we're going to do. And we're going to get boom mines along the way, which is probably not going to stop the super fast people who are using rocket choppas with flares and possibly even shock bombs, which I don't have the tech for, but I probably could if I spent some of those million tokens. But no matter. Let's go forwards. Let's unlock. And that could be a giant mistake. But there is also an extra shock launcher or rocket launcher or whatever above. And of course, shock launchers aren't going to slow down rocket choppas whatsoever. So that's why I've heard a couple of you have started to think about pivoting away from that. And I need to worry about maxing my heavy choppas, likely because I just don't have heavies. So we're going to need some damage from them. And that's when things start to get a little bit sketchy, because if we max our boom mines and max our heavy choppas and go back and get heavies, we need one more chest besides the one that I've got waiting there, which would give us 360,000 tokens, which is going to bring us to about 1.39 million. You need 1.5 or more to max all those things. So I am not going to be maxing my boom mines quite yet. I will do a couple of the super cheap ones, but then we're just gonna stop because I don't want to run the risk of not being able to max my heavies or my heavy choppas. And typically you never max your heavy choppas, but because I'm going to be running them without heavies, need to be open to the idea of at least upgrading them a little teeny tiny bit. Now I need to build a base, and I've only seen one person running this deck layout, so it's going to be a bit of a cluster. I am just going to throw some stuff out there, and then I will talk to you about why I did it, and we shall see how it goes. Okay, uncharted territory. Zmot building bases. What has this world come to? So what I've done is I've protected the back one from being crittered. I put this boom cannon out here just so that people can't come out wide into here. And if they do, maybe they got to do something. Some critters to protect the mortar, because that's probably where I would throw critters, maybe. Thinking people are going to try and critter out this back engine room. 3 engine rooms on that main little island, suggestion from Mr. Luke Skywalker, and then one over on this right-hand side. Might want to put some defenses over in this B1 area, but for the second, we'll just give it a go. Tank players are going to frickin' hate this. This is a long way for tanks to go, and if you don't have flares, you're in a world of pain. So we're just going to try. I'm probably going to get wrecked, but there are I think I've seen one person with this layout, which is going to work to my advantage in theory, leading a path, doing weird things, liking it a lot. And this person has the layout that I just had, and so we shouldn't have to go too quick, but we're gonna try our darndest anyways. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off this tail. I'm gonna get rid of that sniper tower first, so that the bulk of my troops go left and some of them go right. Getting that there, getting you 2 guys over there, and do we want Everspark? We're going to leave Everspark to not go that way. So hopefully the bulk of our troops will go towards the right in a second or so, and that is what we are after. We had a bit of a split there, so we'll throw one more Bodazookas over there and some rifles just to make gosh darn certain that Oh, come on. That mortar on the bottom right is going to wreck me. Okay, there we go. Now we can get Everspark and the gang. Getting a med kit over here. And then maybe a smoke about there to try and keep some of our rifles alive. Yeah, this is going fairly well. Fairly well. Not perfect, but fairly well. That machine gun is going to be a bit of a problem, so Everspark's going to do her darndest to distract something as we hope that the bulk of our troops make the turn back to where the heck they need to be. Everspark is not cooperating at all, so I have already screwed El Pucho on this one, and now we just need to keep some of those rifles alive from that flamethrower. And I gotta say that using smokes is super helpful in this case. Like, we just lost 0 rifles because of that, and now watch this. As soon as that machine gun or cannon goes down, we get Everspark running back to help the troops. It makes a tiny bit of a difference. Her critters will catch up and keep her alive, but just getting her running back to the other side ahead of the troops should do good things for us, as long as she doesn't run to that cannon. And every once in a while, we're going to see a little flash of whatever the heck she is going to hack. So I might actually throw a smoke on her just to keep her from hacking that cannon. We'll see how our critter dudes are doing. And yeah, we're going to do exactly that. So I'm going to throw a smoke onto Everspark, just letting our critters get rid of that cannon. And now we can have her hack something slightly more useful. And then her critters are going to clear some of those mines, hopefully. And then all the rest of our dudes are going to run in and hopefully not die. Excuse me. Speaking of dying, our opponent has retreated, so we are not in any rush whatsoever. We're going to get a med kit onto those rifle dudes and then just wiping the floor with our opponent. So base that I built doing well, like 1000% I built. That was, I think, the first time in 72 seasons that I have built the base myself completely from scratch. So hooray, success. Definitely going to start watching some replays. The benefit of using someone else's base is that you get to see what the heck they're doing, but doesn't really work. Yeah. Sorry, not explaining myself well. The benefit of using someone else's base is that they've already moved the mines for you, and you don't really have to watch replays. When you build your own base, you definitely do, though. And I tend to watch a little bit of replays regardless, because I don't trust people's mine placement totally. And they used Heavy Choppas. That is huge, huge, huge. Very curious to see if they have shock bombs. I kind of doubt it. And we are getting into their heavies, which is helpful. And but the fact that they fizzled, like boom cannon. Look at that boom cannon doing work. We've already got one rocket choppa down. Come on, get a second. Ah, it didn't get a second. There is a bad spot there for some critters. I'm honestly quite surprised that they fizzled, to be honest. The fact is, they have flares, they've got critters, and their critters are nearly maxed. But look at that cannon taking out rocket choppas. There goes another one. So those heavies, that is a giant problem. The fact that they used that flare, their rocket choppas got there way before their heavies, which was giantly, magically fantastic. Machine gun doing a tiny bit of work. I am liking this a lot. They still have to deal with a cannon, a boom cannon, and like this cannon protecting from that side. So good news ahead. Like it a lot. Let's keep going. And we will unlock Heavy Choppas next. I will try them, but reminder, I don't have flares. So they will be able to drop all sorts of troops for us. So I talked about how we're going to need heavies, but we also need flares. So not super duper great on that front. Man, I'm stoked. There is a group of players out there that likes to do Hammerman Fleet. There's a bunch of players out there that love to build bases, and I am not typically in that group, but I can see what the draw is. We're gonna get you over there. You know what? We're gonna wait. You're gonna scout. We are gonna scout as well. I am not gonna give you any satisfaction on this one, my friend. You guys, if you haven't seen this attack, I'd done it a whole bunch in my video that was dropped on Tuesday. Morning should help you out a bunch. Now that they've dropped, we are going to drop as well. And then same deal, just rifles on the inside, and then Everspark, and then we're going to wait half a second or so, and then all of our Zookas into here. And we are going to need some medkits right about there, otherwise we're going to have a very, very bad time. And as soon as that mortar goes down, come on, out comes the hack. Boom, just like that. And that hack is going to keep our troops moving forwards, keeping all of our dudes alive. And the number of medkits that I am using this season is absolutely bonkers. I have not used this many medkits in a season like ever. And my medkits are tick 3 for those of you who are paying attention at home. And that guy's back right mortar is doing way more damage than I would like right now. So we definitely need a little bit of loving. Come on. Oh, got it down. That's good. So this is probably my worst hit. So either bases have progressed or I have gotten worse, or a combination of the two. So we're going to get a hack out because that machine gun's being super duper annoying. And at this point, we're down to single shot defenses. So we should be in... Oh no, Everspark. I spoke way too soon. I said we were going to be in good shape, and then Everspark took one to the back of the head. And as a result, this is rough sledding. We have lost almost certainly. I have not fizzled on a base like that in a very long time. Very unfortunate. We are not gonna... I don't think we have any chance. Those boom mines not gonna do enough. Those tanks are gonna work their way through this base, unfortunately. And they do have flare, so all they need to do is get one more, and I am gonna pick up the giant L, and we're gonna lose a lot of stars here, unfortunately. So we are gonna get a specific soundbite ready if I can find it, and this is not gonna go well whatsoever. So I honestly, I don't know how I fizzled on that base. That was just poorly executed by me. That should not be happening. But Rubik Cube is a player that is up there on the leaderboard many times throughout the seasons. So don't like losing stars, but at least it's to a good player. So again, this is a player that I've never talked to or met, but they are walking their way through their base. They might still fizzle, maybe, because they are losing tanks at a fairly decent rate, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. We don't have the building damage, so as a result, their tanks are probably going to be able to get rid of our boom cannon here. Would be smart to flare the boom cannon right about now, but we'll see how that goes. You need to flare the boom cannon, bro. Otherwise, you're going to have no shot, I don't think. Flare it. You must have GBE. So, a little bit of a mistake there by them, I think. Probably should have flared the boom cannon super early on, but there's still a shot that they're going to get it down. And speaking of shots, right about there, down goes the tank. They did fizzle, but we fizzled far worse, and I didn't keep track of how many stars that was, but I'm going to guess it was like 16 or something ridiculously terrible. So, to make matters worse, now I need to get an extra attack to get that next chest, which is going to get us our Heavy Choppas. So, definitely making some mistakes along the way, but we shall see how it goes. Finding opponents takes a long time. This is why I don't like to be up on the leaderboard, because I just don't have the patience for this. Honestly, this is when I jump out of the queue and go play Brawl Stars, or actually get my work done. I just don't like this part of the season. I wish we had, and this is where the split with the Chinese servers, the smaller player base, I would love to see a bigger player base, and you would not see nearly as many problems with the queue. We're just going to send 90% of our troops towards the left, and then we'll just get going. So you are going to go there. You are going to... What do we have back there? Almost nothing. So we're just going to get both of you guys out here, and you there, and 1, 2, and even miss Everspark. And that, in theory, should be enough to get everyone involved and moving towards that left-hand side. And then we'll send some rifles and things towards that back a little bit, and Bob will be your uncle, and everyone will be happy, and I hate this part of it too. Whine, whine, whine. I know. I'm not a big fan of sitting here waiting to drop our troops. Not having flares does bother me a little bit, but I'll get over that quickly. And then, same deal, you guys are going that way, and as soon as that mortar back there on the right is gone, come on, yes, that is the perfect turn. That is absolutely perfect. Everspark sending some critters back there to keep that dude alive, and then as soon as that goes, right about now, we're going to drop you, and then you, and you. Probably should have dropped our Zookas first because they walk a little bit slower, but we'll get over that. You guys, turn right. Yes, perfect. Now we're just going to use one med kit to heal them all, the one ring to rule them all as we get the perfect that, and then we're going to throw something in that neighborhood because we don't need that flamethrower killing all of our rifle dudes. Same deal here, just trying to keep our Zookas getting rid of those flamethrowers. I like details like this, where you can just, then boom, out come your rifles to distract that mortar as our Zookas do all the damage, and Everspark has done nothing for us, so we probably, maybe should have used, what is that called, Universal Remote on this one, and then we just need to get a giant med kit right about there as our Zookas come back across that little land bridge here. Come on, land bridge. Let's get our med kit right about there, and then, you know what, let's just drop all of the med kits. All of the med kits were too late, and we're gonna get a time of approximately 1 minute 46. Come on, don't take over. 146. Slow, definitely not fast. Cigar 06, that is the nemesis of many people on the Telegram details. And I think I got what did I say? I got 146, something like that. We are going to be losing, I do believe. So, Critters and Everspark and Flares and Heavies. Cigar has invested in many things and it paid off because they beat me. Also, they have building health and building damage. Yeesh. So, showing that investing in the backwards, this engine room is gosh darned expensive. In case you guys missed that note, that is 100. These are all 60. So, less than ideal from a key perspective, but now we've got the reason why we went there. We've got the Heavy Choppas. I am going to get them. Where do we want to take them to? Heavies, how much do Heavies cost to max? Thinking into my Rolodex, Heavies cost 459,000 to max. So, do we want more boom mines? Do we want more Heavies? Remote hack, remote defib is going to be huge. Okay, so we've got our Heavy Choppas. Let's throw one more into those. That's going to leave us some tokens to do whatever the heck we want with. And now let's get this into play. So I have no idea what we're going to do as far as, I don't think we need any rifles anymore. I think we can probably go something like that. We'll do one hit, and then I will come back to you tomorrow with more details on whether this is a mistake or a genius move or whatever the heck else it might be. Just the fact that our Heavy Choppas, even though our Heavies are going to have to go around the horn, if our Heavy Choppas can fly over that gap, that's going to give us some benefit of some form of goodness. So, what are we going to do here? I think I'm going to go something like Everspark, Heavy Choppa, Zooka, and then let's go something like, oh no, all our Heavy Choppas are going to fly across into that middle thing, which is not going to be terribly awful, I don't think. But I feel like it's not going to be perfect either. So, Heavy Choppas giving us some Heavies that are all going to be Tick 1 Heavies, though. Just do keep that in mind. Tick 1 Heavies are not going to be ideal under any circumstances. And there come the dudes. Would love to see some Heavies get out front here, because otherwise that machine gun is going to be an absolute menace. Using Heavy Choppas without having our good... Oh no, speaking of needing health, managed to keep those guys alive. I am way too far zoomed in. This is not going well under any definition of the term, but we've got some heavies going in the right direction finally, and some Zookas going in the right direction, and we're going to throw a, what's that thing called there? A smoke there. And this is where I think we're going to get some form of a benefit. As those heavies go across the gap, getting over there feels like we need way more Zookas than we have. But here come our dudes right about there. Heavy Choppas coming in to distract things, and I feel like getting our Heavy Choppas to be higher level was actually less good because they're not getting shot out of the sky to give us some heavy dudes, which is keeping our DPS down. So they're just tickling that machine gun, and it's not doing a heck of a lot of good. Everspark is coming with the gang, but we're going to have to rely on our defense because this is not ideal. So Heavy Choppas on their own, not the be-all, end-all, unfortunately. Heavies will definitely change that, but I also am going to need flares because, as you can see here, watching our troops go where we don't want them to go, with those gaps especially, mechs at least don't fly across gaps, which can be to your benefit. Did we just make the mistake of the season? We'll have to wait and find out. I am going to hide at the second because we definitely want to claim in gold. That next chest is going to be critical because it will give us heavies, and we are one of, if not the first person using Heavy Choppas, but it's not an advantage yet without flares and or heavies. So, yeesh indeed. 1 minute 15 is not going to cut it at any definition of the term, but at least we went up against a 17, so probably going to lose like 5 stars? 7 stars. Oof, that still hurts. Let's have a look. Oh, of course that puts us down to... Yeah, see, that's where fizzling hurt us in a big way. Let's have a look, see what our enemy is doing. Need to tweak the base, probably. And sending back into there. Come on, mortar. Okay, so that mortar is going to get moved over a little bit. Not that it'll matter much. And they are split dropping rocket choppas, which is pretty gosh darn smart. And now those rifles just walking through all of the things, keeping those rocket choppas alive, and then critters. Yep. Critters on all of the things as that boom cannon goes down. Probably want to swap, maybe? Just critters for days and days and days. Like, it is crazy just how many critters. There's Everspark with the remote hack. Pretty gosh. Oh, look at that. Boom cannon actually finished off the engine room. So I tip my cap to you. That is a good attack. We will come back. And I started out at rank. Yuck. Just ranks are not good. Movement's not good. I will tweak my base a little bit and see if we can't do some goodness. So even something like that is a step in the right direction. But then they're just going to drop their rocket chop. But then... So... Thinking out loud. If they drop their rifles to get back there, they are gonna die, obviously, to that flamethrower. If they drop rocket choppas here and then drop rifle to clear that, and then drop rifles, their rocket choppas will beat their rifles to that back section. So at least we have that working for us. What I would do probably is drop 1 boat of rocket choppa and clear that and that for free, and then as soon as that goes down, drop your rifle, like... So I would probably drop 1 rocket choppa to clear that, and then drop your rifles and get them going without a flare. Of course, you're going to drop them about there. And then as your rocket choppa comes over to here to clear that, then your rifles get to about here, and then you flare back to there, and maybe something like that. So definitely needs a little bit more investigation. Maybe we'll just go something like this as well, just to try to block that right-hand side a little bit, because sniper towers versus rocket choppas. Anyways, the base building continues. The downward spiral sadly continues, but as you can see, regardless, that we're going to get heavies next chest, which should, in theory, help us a bit. Won't be able to get heavies and flares because we're going to be 4 keys short, But some progress is made, and at least trying something different. I play so conservatively always, and so I figured, you know what, let's do something different. That is all for me, though. Hopefully this gave you some indication of where you should be spending your keys or saving your keys or mistakes to avoid. This deck is great, but it's also kind of wide open and big. So my decisions are going to have to rely around which of these is next on my list. And speaking of that, before you go, tell me what you think about this thing I mocked up. I think before you unlock an engine room, you should have the ability to preview what the deck is going to look like. Whether it's one of these seasons where you can do it in any sort of order, or even a regular season, it would be super nice to be able to preview the layout so you know how your deck is going to change. Because when your deck changes and you weren't ready for it, some awkward moments definitely happen. Truly spoken as the dad of 2 teenage boys. So I am going to go. Thank you for coming in, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, code Zmodding. But as always, comments make the world go round. I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. Peace.